Hi everyone, welcome back. So I've had some requests for me to show you how to capture a tiny faceted stone with a point on it in the middle of a wire. So midway station starts with an S curve, and that's not good. If you have a point on the bottom of your stone, it'll make your stone not sit right. So rather you just get to the middle of your wire and make a loop. So I'm starting with 20 gauge wire. It's round, it's soft copper, and it's 16 inches long. And this stone is 8 millimeter round. It's just a little faux gemstone I have, beautiful emerald green color glass. And I'm going to start in the approximate center of my wire here, and I'm just going to turn the wire between both of my fingers and make this little loop. Okay? Just like that. And this upper wire is kind of sloping up a little bit. And you just want to get this wire far enough from this loop that when you put your gemstone in there, it'll sit center, okay? And then you can work it close from here. When you get your gem in there, just work this wire. You'll have to brace this wire so that you can turn this one without it moving. And just coil up, pass in front. And I'm just turning. I've got good pressure with thumb and finger, and I'm just using my finger right here to help me make this bend. You want to keep sloping up towards the top of the gem, okay? The bottom is pointed, so we kind of have to make our spiral cone shaped. So when you get here, just jump the wire, keep going, get to the very edge of your gemstone. It's not going to stay there until you get over the shoulder of it. Make sure the face of it just stays looking at you nice and steady. You see here I've from this coil to this one, I've jumped that little ridge, and I have to stay on top of the gemstone now. And it'll just happen naturally if you just follow the gem, the side of the gem. I'm going to go one more time around to make sure that I've really got the top of it. You want to make sure that there's no gaps, so I'm constantly kind of pulling forward and upward as I climb the pavilion of this gemstone. We go one more time around this upper edge. I'm under the camera, so I'm not being as graceful, but it'll work your fingers a little bit. You can just scooch the coils around with your fingers and make sure you've got a nice capture. That you're not covering too much. Okay, that's pretty good. You see how this upper coil is just to the inside of the one below it, so to make sure to cover the face. Ooh, okay. They intersect, they cross right here. Just make sure that you get them positioned so that they can. Keep holding everything. And this is the long wire now, the one in the back, because we've been coiling with the front one. So take the long one, bring it up. We can take this short one. Normally I just bend it back, but since this is a pretty deep stone, I'm going to take a swing around the neck and make sure I catch it. So hold everything real steady. Don't let it move. Don't pull your wire. Bend it. Use your plier and help you make a nice clean bend around the neck of the stem. All the way around once. Squeeze. Just work carefully. Come back to this side. I'm holding real firm here. Okay, nothing moved. And I've got a nice tiny little loop. Around that stem. So right here, right next to it, don't pull, get in front actually. Don't pull, don't push, just turn it up. Use your plier and help you turn it up and meet the next, meet the one next to it. Do real careful. If you need. Okay, just like that, nice clean hold. Get it a little more center so that this stem comes up nice and center. Okay, that's good. You can wrap these bale wires if you want to. You can use 22 gauge half round. I'm going to use 28 gauge weaving wire. And I'm just going to make a nice clean coil, so I'm going to take about 1.5 feet here. Okay, and the ends of your wires, you got the short one that we coiled with and a long one. And there should be plenty of space to make this pendant at 16 inches. So we're going to make a bale about 1 inch. We're going to coil, or you can weave, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to make a simple coil. So I'm going to anchor it right here. Hold on to that. Just that leading inch there. And just start nice clean coils. You'll coil about 1/2 inch. Just making sure my coils stay nice and side by side. Maybe 1/4 inch. Okay, right about there. We'll make a nice petite pendant. Once you get about 1/4 inch, leave the long wire on there. And you can take your nylon jaw and just give this a few taps right here. Flatten it all down nice. Pressure harden a little bit. Okay, don't squeeze so hard you break anything. Just pressure harden here a little bit. Okay, I'm going to tie to here, but I'm going to leave the top of my bale bare. So I'm actually going to turn it up here. So about 1/4 inch, you can go up about 3/4 inch. Or wherever you like yours. I'm going to use 3mm dowel. I'm going to hold it right here where I want the length of my bale to start. From here to here is going to be the bale length, from here to here. So wherever you like. And I'm going to bend these 2 wires straight up, straight over the top, straight down over the center of the pendant. Okay, right here where the wraps are, we want to bring them in together to meet. So first from the back, you can take pliers, make sure your coils are nice and settled, hold your gemstone and everything steady, bend it, kind of make a back bend, so you're putting forward pressure and bending back slightly. And then just right up here, you can eyeball where it is, where they might meet, right here. Just hold it and take a bend with your hand. Get them as even as you can. Bring it together, just like that. Okay. Use your wire, so you should be center here. Use your wire and take a couple of laps around the whole thing. It's a little squirrely at first. And you're going to coil down towards the gemstone. So right back over the coils from the back. Just make a couple to help you hold it nice and close. And then we'll split these, okay? But I want to split them closer to the gemstone so I have a little neck here. So right about here, let me get a finer plier. See, I'm colliding with the face of the gemstone. So right about here, that's maybe 3 millimeter. I'll make a slight bend up, okay? Now this can lay down nicely like that. Just keep everything center. And then take your wrap wire and just carefully wrap over the whole thing until you reach the base here. Don't worry if these, go like that. We'll fix them here in a second. Actually, mine jumped over themselves, so I'll fix them now. Yeah, so right here I've got mine jumped over themselves, so careful not to do that. Just undo them if that happens. Keep these two side by side. Now take this and start wrapping back towards the gemstone. One coil right over the other one, right next to the other one. And you're going all the way over the back coils. Just keep them nice and neat. Just like that. Hold on to this last coil so it doesn't bubble. We're going to split these two wires. Just hold on to the neck like that. Split the long one to the right, the short one to the left. I'm just on the edge of my gemstone cup, right? You can take the short weaving wire here. Let's get rid of it, anchor it. Make a couple of wraps, just neatly right there into the shoulder. Cut it off. Just tuck it. I had to look at it. Just tuck it. So these two wires should be side by side, to the cup, kind of flush with the cup here. Sloping nice. I don't mean side by side, I mean next to the cup. Just hold everything and use the pad of your finger. Will just help you make a turn. Use the side of the cup. Just make a curve that goes around that cup nicely, right there. The point should come to the center, right? So here. Just a nice little curve like that. You can do the other one too. This is the short one. Just like that, so that they crisscross at the bottom center. Save that wire. So the inside gem is like a little swing. It's going to be kind of independent, of this frame until it ties together. So it's nice because you can kind of balance yourself. All right, so we're going to bring the bottom one up. That's my long one. I'm not going to move anything. My point is bottom center. I'm just going to take my fine plier and hold nice. Just pinch it all the way up and back over itself. Just back bend it onto itself like that. Come down here and just give it the slightest squeeze. Don't kill it. Okay, just take the bubble out. Now we'll take this one and bend it over that way. Okay, just make sure you are focused on the bottom center. And we'll go, I'm just getting a little bend on it so it keeps that one. Okay, just like that. Take this one about 1 millimeter out. Hold steady and hairpin the bend straight up, back over itself like that. Okay, so now we'll put some elegance into it. Make sure to hold this leading wire and hold this back the other wire. Just turn this up on point like that, make it cute. Pinch them both, hold steady, turn this one out, turn this one out a little bit more if you need to. Keep it elegant down there. Keep that point center if you can, or slightly center. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can kind of shift it just like that with your finger. Okay, this one's our shorty. I don't know, yours might be a little bit longer than mine, but I'm here in the front. Okay, I'm gonna do like a heart bend and come to the back and probably be done with this one because there's not much more. So I'm gonna hold it with my plier since it's short. I'm going to use the pad of my finger to help me create a nice, maybe I don't have to hold it, it's only 20 gauge. Just create a nice shoulder. You're flush with the back here. Just a nice little shoulder like that. Okay, this one is short for me, so I'm probably just going to terminate it into a little curl up here at the front. So I'm not going to need my tie wire, but I'm going to keep it there in case I need to grab this one from the back. And I might, just to help me out. So bring it back here. Make sure there's no bubble. Just do a couple of tight little wraps. Just to get it held for you. Okay? Take the front of this and we're going to curl it up here. So first we're going to bend it. Don't move your beautiful curve. Get your round nose plier on it. Hold everything real steady. See, I'm holding this. And just make a nice 90 degree to the front, just like that. So nothing changed, nothing moved. I'm just gonna, with my finger, bring it over. I'm pretty short, so if you have a little more length, probably easier. This is about a ½ inch, okay? And I'm gonna take my round nose, well, actually, take a nice wider plier and just give the slightest tap, if you need to, right here at the neck, just to tighten that wire up slightly. Don't kill it, okay? Take this and curl in. It's small, so just work patiently. Get the tip of it. We're going to sacrifice the tip so get a nice hold on it. Put your thumb on the neck so it doesn't move. Use your plier head and turn it. Let go. Don't grip with too much because then you nick it. And just get your little turn on to the neck there. Little spiral, your curve. You can use some fine pliers to help you if you need, okay? And then if you munch to your tip like mine, I always do this. Get your super fine cutter in there and just snip it out. Okay. If you need to give a squeeze, everything is kind of level. Remember, this thing swings, so it helps you kind of reposition if you need to. Hold everything, give it delicate and controlled squeeze. Don't crush it. That should hold. Okay? Pretty. So pretty. Okay, now we'll do the left one. This is the longer one. so we can do a little bit more with it. If your weaving wire breaks off, don't worry. Okay, so same thing. Get on the side of your gemstone. We're going to try to mimic the other curve. Get nice and on the side. Just use the pad of your finger. We're going to come around the back to help you create a curve. Bring it straight across and just kind of try to make it look like the other shoulder. Okay, that's nice. If we want to do another little design, you can swing back over, the bail and loop back over. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to dive right into this space, come right back over here. So hold your curve. Make sure it's passing nice and neatly over this other wire. Okay. We have the tie wire here, so if you need to grab it, get back there and grab it. We'll do that. Just leave this wire straight so we can adjust that shoulder and make a few wraps nice and neat with no bubbles. Just right here, the back of the bail. And you can bring your wings in closer than I did. Okay, so just a couple of them. See, now it still shifts a little bit, so I can bring it in a little bit if I need to. Did you see it move? Okay. Hold everything. Swing into that crevice. If you want to do a little something, you can. I'm just going to be nice and clean about it. Swing right in there. Swing kind of down. Make a watch your curve here, because this is the wire. Just bring it straight over. So right here you can take this and do a little more design with it if you want to. You can curl it up and do more design, up top if you want to. You can stabilize the back if you need to by swinging it, back around this way or back up the bail. Okay, to terminate it. I'm going to cut it right here and just pass it to the back. I thought I might do more design, but I don't think I'm going to because this is so cute. So I'm going to take away the excess. Just keep the neck wrap real cute. Take this, bend it back, pass it through the shoulder. Don't handle the part that goes across the neck. Just handle the end here. Bring it through. Make a nice clean wrap. Okay. Back here, I like to take a wider plier. I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. Keep it close. Just keep the front close to the neck and push back. Cut and tuck right there into that space unseen, or make a back curl if you don't think you can get it in there and not see it. Actually, let's just make a back curl. It'll be easier for a lot of us. So right here, you never just want to leave a raw wire. Take it, hold it, just turn it. Don't disturb your gemstone. Just make a nice tight closed loop right there. It's hidden from the front. Going to take a wide plier and tap this neck wire a little nicer. I like that. That's so adorable. And I'll just coil. I have an existing wire. May not be long enough to go all the way down. And I'll just coil all the way down here. And remember that our gem basket swings a little bit, right? We've gone back and forth through it, so it shouldn't swing too much. But if you feel like you need to catch it, as you're coiling, you have the opportunity to slip a wire in there, okay? And just make a stitch or two and catch these two together. Same thing on this side right here, okay? So you can just do yours. These are small and the wire's 20 gauge, so you may not need to do anything. I always like to put an invisible stitch or two right there as I'm passing it. Why not? Make it a little more stable. And just make sure. I mean, even if it is stable, just make sure you get it. You're going to pass that section. There's nice negative space in this pendant here, the openings, but they're not so far apart that I feel like something's missing. So just remember when you make your heart shoulders to not spread them too far out. You can actually even go closer to the gemstone than I do, like that little aquamarine. They're practically riding right along the edge of the gem. So you can vary your designs a little bit just by how far you spread these wings out, whether or not you couple another wire with them as you coil. You know, we can do that. We can do add-on wire. We could be tying tiny little 1mm beads in here if we want to. Down here at the bottom, since we're not going to do anything more, if you feel like you need to do a little squeeze, you can do that. I'm going to bring mine a little closer. So a real controlled squeeze with the wire, just to harden it a little bit. I'm going to push right here with my fingers, hold this steady, and just level that a little bit. So I've just got a nice profile, right? Just check yours. If you don't need to fiddle it, don't fiddle it. If you don't think you have enough on your 28 gauge or your wrap wire to make it, you know, when you start, then just begin a new one way up here, because you don't want to run out of wire in the middle and then splice, because you'll always have a little splice there that you might see. So I always like to make sure my coils reach the distance, if I can, even if it means cutting the wire off and starting a fresh piece and then using this fragment for something else. The points are a little harder. I'm not gonna lie, to catch the stone and make sure it's sitting right. But you just practice a few times, you know, and after a couple times, it'll just go real easy. So this is how you do midway with pointed stones. The other midway capture uses flat back cabochon, my other one, and that one you can do for rounds or ovals, but it's better with a flat back because we start with an S curve rather than an open O loop here. Alright, so I've reached this little intersection where I can catch this wire. I'm going to check it in the front and see if I can do that invisibly. I'm right there. There won't be any stretch of wire. So I'm going to pass through both of them. See that little cinch? I'll do that twice as I continue to coil along the front here. And that holds those two together really nicely. Don't squish it so that you can't get back on that first coil. Just tight enough that it holds it nice. So see, I can get right back into that space. And I can keep coiling and it doesn't look like anything happened. Right? This is a good space also to, if you need to add wire, wrap 2 times, take off your short fragment and start the new one. Or end it on this, this side, give 2 single coils, grab the doubles, and then continue. But try not to end it in the middle of the single coil, otherwise you see it. And this is a nice little discrete intersection. I think mine's going to make it. So I'm going to keep going. Hopefully that means yours is going to make it. So I'm starting to approach the end here. I'm just pushing my coils back, making sure that everything's neat. And I'm just going to continue on this single wire. If it gets hard or short for your hands, then you can just do like this. Again, notice that the frame swings a little bit, the gemstone frame, so don't fret that. If you feel like you needed to grab that too, you could have passed through one of these back coils as we were weaving past it here too. I could probably still do that by jumping it this way if I feel like I need to. There's no weight, so I don't worry about it by the time it's all hardened up. And especially if your gem is smaller, but if it's bigger, you might consider to pass a coil through the cup, grab pass the weaving wire through the cup and get a coil. Don't pull the coils out of shape and loosen up your stone, but just get 1 or 2 wraps, and then the whole thing will it'll make you feel a little more secure. Try to get as far in there as I can. There's been a few of you that say I remind you of Bob Ross, and I just want to say I love that guy, or loved that guy. I still love that guy. I grew up watching him paint, kind of like my TV babysitter. So cute. So just keep going to where you like it. I kind of like it where these 2 points meet, and I like the tip bare, so I'm going to close it and end it right here, maybe 1 or 2 more. You do yours where you like it. This is a cute little place for a bead ball, a copper bead ball, if you want to do a tiny 1mm right there too. You have the wire right in your hand right now to catch it as you coil past. My cutters are not very sharp anymore. Gonna have to get a different pair. So I cut that little fragment off on the inside there, just tucking it with my plier. Make it nice and clean so it can't be seen. Ooh, I might have to back that little fragment out. Okay, so we have one side done. So now we get a fresh piece of 28 gauge and do the other side. Take about 1 foot. You can anchor it up here, and if you need to grab that, little loop we left there, if you feel like you want just a little extra something on it, you can sneak it into the wrap here too. That's pretty secure, but I'm just going to get underneath it there, see, so I can get it as I get it into my coil, and then I have the beginning fragment to take a couple more laps around it at the end here. So I'll keep coiling. So I'm just going to go ahead and anchor this beginning fragment a time or two around this one little loop here. Make sure it sits in there nice. Cut it off and just get it out of my way. Turn that little end, tuck it to the inside. So tiny, you just have to tap it in there. So it's nice and cute on the front. Push the coil back and keep going until you get to here. Okay, I'm going to check where I'm at. I'm not quite there yet. If I stretched it now, I would, and you could do that if you wanted the coil to be seen, right? But I just want a single coil, so I'm going to keep going. Oh, I already accidentally grabbed it. So I think I'm close enough now. I'm going to go through both and catch that inside one right there. Tie it together. I'll do that a couple of times. And here's where I was talking about on this other side. And why don't you go ahead and do it if you're watching this ahead. You know, you can take one lap into your coils, right? Into the coil that's nearest. You don't want to stretch these because if you shift them, then you can shift where the hold on your gemstone. So do you see the pass I just made? Be careful right here as you're pulling. See, it pulled my coil. So hold that. Get that single wrap if you feel like you need to, and you can do that on this side too. Make sure it didn't shift anything it shouldn't have. I'm going to push my coils back together. And I'm going to keep going with my wrap. It's getting a little tight. I'm going to make a little turnout right there. I like that better. I'm going to keep wrapping on this upper coil. Because we made that pass, you see how it pulled the coil a little bit? And that's okay. You just work it neat. We know it's going to do that, so if you need to get a plier to help you scooch it, you can. Just don't break your wire. If you do, you just start a new 28 gauge. It's not a big deal. If you want to wrap both of these as you approach, you can do that too. I'm only doing the top one, but I could have just as well done both of these like the aquamarine. I've got both wires. Just hold the bottom and the top of your gemstone as you're working. Don't pull too hard against your frame. There's plenty of room in this design for you to add wire, you know, do another add-on, put some curlies in here if you want to, or continued with that long one. So I hope you enjoy this. And right here, you know, I could add a bead ball, or, you know, a couple coils back, put a bead ball in there. I don't know that I'm going to keep it, but I'll show it to you. Since I'm passing by this little space with my coil, I could easily do that right now if I want to. Okay, and then just catch it to here. I'm not gonna. You can if you want. Just gonna keep it real clean. I like it the way it is a lot. Sometimes less is more, as they say. Just work it in there until you're happy. That's probably about as close as I'm going to get. Maybe one more to the inside. And then bring the wire to the inside, cut it and tuck it in there. Give yourself a millimeter so it turns over the frame wire. Get a fine plier. And that tie wire is so little, you can just roll it in there. Don't use too much force and break anything. See, I have my cup stitched right there. I would have had a stitch right there had we done that. Okay, and then press your wings down. Make sure you got a nice lay on the pendant. If you need to harden these up here, get your plier, the step plier we used. I'm going to put my 3mm back in there. Just work it carefully back in. Don't force anything. Tap the top of the bail. It's kind of like a burnishing, not really. But it just, you know, if you just kind of do like that, don't cause any dents. It just hardens up that curve a little bit, right? You can feel it. Okay, so just like a burnishing, just kind of run your plier back and forth. I hope you love that. Let's add a beautiful chain and enjoy it. And actually, I missed something. If you need to tap here, you see how I've got a little raise? Just real carefully, not to make dents. If you make dents, you know, dinks in the wire, we sand that a little bit with some wet dry. Or you just tape these. You know, don't be like teacher, just tape these first. And then give a tap, 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 tap. Don't change their shape. Just tap them back to flat if they went out. That's better. Okay, now let's add our favorite chain and enjoy. I just got these and I love them. It's 1mm faceted ball chain. Mine are a little bit stiff right now because I just sealed them all. This doesn't come as finished chain. You have to make them finished. So anyway, okay, there we go. I hope you love that. Oh, that's so cute. All right, if you enjoyed this, please smash the like button, give me a comment, and let me know if you enjoyed making one. Thanks, guys. We'll see you for the next one.